Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. We're having a look at the Engineers patch again. Today I want to have a look at the planetary surfaces. Now I have had a look at these in the previous videos, or at least a little bit of a look, but this time I want to have a much closer look. Now I want to have a look down here because, as you're probably aware, the planetary surfaces have had some graphical updates in this patch. Now the environment here is an icy planet and you can see the subsurface scattering in effect. That's an effect that has been in place for a very long time with horizons, but is well worth having a look at for the start of this video. Now out here, I'm in the depths of space, right near the core of the galaxy, inside a nebula in fact, and in the background you can see both of those. This is a rocky planet, one of them that has had the materials on the surface updated, and as we get closer you're about to see those details in effect. Now there does seem to be one downside to all of these updates, and that's as you're further away from the planets, up here at this sort of altitude, the resolution of the textures there looks quite lower than it once did, and the transition between the low textures and the high textures seems to be much more apparent than previously. But as you can see here, when you're down on the surface of the planets, they do look vastly more detailed than they did, and this is lovely to see when you've got a great background like I've got here. So here I decided what I would do is have a look at the various different planetary types. That was a rocky planet, and out there are a multitude of different high metal content planets as well, all in a variety of different colours. We're going to go have a check out of them, and then some icy rocky planets as well. And at the end of the video I've come across a rather unusual planet that I think you're going to find very interesting. Before that though, I went back to have a look at the other side of the rocky planet. Now if you ever noticed, some of the chasms here, some of the canyons have a lot of different type of materials down in them, a lot of different colours, and sometimes if you're lucky you may find some sort of foggy or dusting effect as well. But you can see here that these also look quite different, and in some areas they do have some sort of reflective surface as well. Now please understand, I fully realise that this isn't everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone enjoys just flying over the surface of planets checking them out, but there are quite a lot of different combinations of materials down there, giving many of the planets quite a distinct different feel to each other. En route to looking for a high metal content planet, I thought I would check out one of the asteroid fields here again. Now these were improved with the Engineers patch, and in Beta 4 there was some changes made to the graphics of these areas, at least so that it was mentioned in the patch notes. So I wanted to come back out here to make sure that they weren't, well, basically ruined. But they still look very good, they still look a lot better than they did back in the version 2 release of the game. So if you do enjoy spending a lot of time out in asteroid fields, you're not going to be disappointed. There you can see 3 different types of high metal content planets. I'm going to go to each one of them in turn. This is the first, the yellow in colour type 1. So down here you can see that there are quite a few changes. One of the most obvious ones is the fact that all the little rocks and the larger rocks are now much more better blended with the planetary surface. But something else you will have noticed is that the steeper slopes are now rocky in texture. That's something that we didn't used to have, but it's something that is much more realistic. Now on this particular character, I'm right on the opposite side of the galaxy. This is around about 55,000 light years away from inhabited space. In terms of gameplay, it's a little bit odd out here. There's actually absolutely nothing to do out here. Now the points of interest have been removed. Frontier actually spoke about removing human-originated points of interest from the game. Actually turns out that that means that there's no points of interest at all out here, at least as far as I've been able to find. Now I've been over a few dozen planets and spent quite a lot of time flying over the surfaces as well as driving around in the SRV, and the only thing I can find are various types of materials. But if anyone else has had more luck than me on that, do please let me know because I'd love to hear about it. Frontier have also said that they're saving some of the stuff for the final release of the game, and in particular that would centre around things like the alien artifacts that have been found. So just maybe they're going to throw a switch and we'll see some type of alien points of interest out here. Who knows? We do know, after all, that Frontier are indeed saving a few things for the release of the game, and the Engineers are a good example for that. There's only a few of them in beta, there's going to be many more of them available later on. And when Sandro Samarco, the lead developer for Elite Dangerous, was asked about the locations of Engineers in deep space, he said he didn't want to comment on that. Now, here is that rather interesting planet I mentioned. I've seen a couple of these before, but you don't get to see them that often, and you may indeed not have seen one at all. Now, this is an icy rock planet, but that in itself isn't what makes it unusual. Of course, it's the striking colours which give it its unique features. Some very vivid oranges here, and some pretty vivid blues as well there in the background, with a little bit of subsurface scattering on, I do believe. It's coming across planets like this within the game that make all the exploration very worthwhile for me. Places that are fairly unique, places that are very different to anywhere you've come across up until this particular point. And yes, it's a shame that at the moment there's still no gameplay out here, but I do believe that at some point that's going to change. Nonetheless though, exploration isn't necessarily about all that. It's about finding things, being the first to see something different, about finding places that give you a sense of awe. And when it comes to that, locations like this really do deliver. So there's a bit of a look at the planetary surfaces as they stand in the latest update, soon to be coming to the live servers in June. I'll be back soon with another video on the Engineers Update, having another look at missions this time. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant, and once again welcome back to the Engineers, the latest patch for Elite Dangerous. This of course is right during the beta, and I'm heading out here to check out the new looting system. Now, looting is the various materials that are required for crafting. It can come in a number of shapes and sizes, including material much like the synthesis material we've had up until now.